Unit 2. Recording 2. The book. Alex.
Now, you might think of a library as a dusty old place full of books that nobody uses anymore. After all, when we need to research something, we tend to do it on the net nowadays. But in a living library, the books are real people. People who can share a significant personal experience or a particular perspective on life. I volunteered to be a book at a living library event in Sheffield. The event was organised by the university and was meant to tackle prejudices. Arriving in a bit of a hurry, I looked through the catalogue of available books to sign myself in as a student. Against each book are a few of the typical prejudices and preconceptions people might associate with your title. Next to student were written things like lazy, politically apathetic, do useless degrees, and also wastes taxpayers' money, can't cook, and spends all his money on beer. Thinking back to the previous night, I wasn't sure how I was going to tackle any of these accusations. Sitting in the waiting room was rather surreal, with books asking each other, "Who are you?" And already I was beginning to have second thoughts. When the public started coming in, it was like sitting on a shelf waiting and hoping that someone would choose you and hoping that you would be able to find something to say when they did. Luckily, I didn't have to wait long. An older man, grey hair and a suit, came to collect me. As we walked over to our designated corner, I planned my responses to the rail of expected accusations. In fact, as we talked over coffee, we compared experiences, student life in the 1960s, with the riots and protests, wild music and the ambitions they had of changing the world, and student life now. Interestingly, we found that we shared a lot of the same ideologies, that many things haven't really changed. I think the directness of the experience was eye-opening, really. The candid discussion forces people to keep an open mind about things, and that has to be good.
The reader. Saba.
If, like me, you're the kind of person that's curious about other types of people that you don't know personally, then I think you'd enjoy the living book experience. I went to a 3-hour session in Norwich and was surprised at how much I learned. It gives you a chance to really talk to people who may be from a different religion or culture, people who you don't normally get to talk to in your everyday life. I met all kinds of people, some wonderful people. One of them was Carrie, a blind woman. Carrie is visually impaired, having lost her sight due to illness when she was a child. The first thing that struck me about Carrie is that she's fiercely independent. She doesn't like other people doing things for her, so you can imagine that can be a bit difficult. Her mission was to tackle the stigma that people attach to blind people, that they're helpless. She wants to challenge the stereotype that just because a person can't see, they can't do anything for themselves. Carrie lives a perfectly normal life, gets stressed by herself, goes to work, goes out socially, and does all the things that the rest of us do. Well, she can't drive, but that was really one of her few limitations. She told me about successful blind people around the world who have had a great impact on society, people who have been successfully employed, taken advanced degrees, published books, written music, and participated in athletic and even Olympic events. These are the people that have been Carrie's inspiration. She also talked about how many blind people use their other senses, which happen to be quite developed. So Carrie feels that she's quite a good judge of character because she's able to see people for who they really are, on the inside, rather than just how they want to present themselves, or how you may judge them because of the clothes they're wearing or the scar they may have. As she put it, she's able to see with her heart rather than her eyes. My conversation with Carrie gave me a whole new perspective. It taught me not to be narrow-minded about disability, and I thank her for that.